Here is something that should not be possible. In May, the number of homes for sale in Chino dropped 21.6% in a single month. That's less competition, fewer choices for buyers. That is usually when a market speeds up. Instead, the opposite happened. Days on market in Chino actually jumped 25% that same month. Fewer homes to choose from, and buyers still took longer to commit. This is not a fluke, it's not even random. That is buyers being pickier with every single listing in front of them, even when their options shrink. And if you're planning to sell in Chino, Chino Hills, or Ontario Ranch anytime soon, you need to understand exactly why that happens. Because it is happening for a very specific reason, very fixable reasons. Let's get into it. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Christian Medina. I spent almost 20 years selling real estate in the Inland Empire. This channel is called Moving to the Inland Empire, and if you're thinking about buying or selling out here, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. All right, let's set the stage with real numbers, the same numbers I pull every single month before I sit down to write one of these videos. San Bernardino County overall is sitting at 550,500 median for single family homes, up slightly this month, and homes are averaging 21 days on market countywide. Now that's going to be your baseline. Now, zoom into our specific cities and the picture gets a lot more interesting. Chino is sitting at 827,500 median. It's up slightly this month, but days on market jumped 25% to 15 days, even as active listings fell over 21% and months of supply dropped to 2.7. Chino Hills told a different story entirely. The median actually softened just under 3% this month to 1.138 million, and yet homes are moving even faster than last month, down to 12 days, even as inventory climbed over 5% and the month supply rose to 3.2. Then there's Ontario Ranch, and this one depends entirely on which zip code you're in. In 91761, the median climbed to 2.2% to 735,500, but days on market exploded, up over 81% to 20 days, even as active listings fell almost 17%. In 91762, it's close to an opposite story. The median actually came down close to 8% to $740,000, and days on market dropped 38% to just 13 days, with homes now closing at just over 101% of their original asking price. Same master plan community, two zip codes, two completely different stories. All of this is happening with mortgage rates sitting at around 6.38% for a 30-year fix right now, slightly better than they were, back in May. So what does this all mean if you're thinking about selling? The market is not one thing right now. It is rewarding specific homes and punishing others inside the exact same zip code. Here are the 6 specific reasons that happens. Signal 1, the closed off floor plan. The first one is the outdated closed off layout. I'm talking about homes built mostly in the 1960s, 1970s, and into the early 1980s across older Chino and older Ontario neighborhoods. Small enclosed kitchens tucked away from the living room, a single full bathroom serving 3 or 4 bedrooms, no primary suite at all, just a bedroom that happens to be slightly bigger than the others. That layout made sense for how families lived 50 years ago. It doesn't match what a buyer relocating from LA and Orange County are expecting today. They have already seen open concept kitchens connected to the living room space. They have already seen primary suites with a private bathroom, and walking into a home with a closed off kitchen and one shared bathroom feels like a step backward. I have watched solid, structurally sound homes in older pockets of Chino sit for 2 full listing cycles for exactly this reason, while a remodeled or newer built 2 streets away sells in under 3 weeks. The home is not broken, the floor plan is just working against you. If your home has this type of layout, you either invest in opening up the kitchen and adding a second bathroom before you list, or you price it specifically against other closed floor plan homes, not against the open concept new builds nearby. Signal 2, the hidden cost of price. The second signal is the one that blindsides more sellers out here than almost anywhere else, and it's specific to how we built in the Inland Empire. I'm talking about Mello-Roos and CFD taxes, HOA dues that have crept up over the years, and leased solar panels. If your home is in a newer community in Ontario Ranch or parts of Chino, there's a real chance you're carrying a Mello-Roos or a CFD assessment on top of your base property tax bill. Buyers relocating from LA and Orange County are not always used to seeing that on the closing disclosure. And when their lender runs the real monthly payment, including the assessment plus HOA dues, the number can get noticeably higher than what the listing price alone suggested. That sticker shock causes buyers to walk away from showings they never even booked, simply because the estimated payment scared them offline before they even got that far. This happens all the times with even my buyers. So we send them lists of homes that fit their criteria, or sometimes they start looking on places like Zillow and send me a home that they like. The price looks great, but when I get into the actual finding out what the property taxes are, you get to see that they're higher than anything else. Some even reaching 2%, and I've even seen some going over the 2% mark. Here's what makes this even more urgent right now in Ontario Ranch specifically. Builders are actively marketing new construction in the same corridor with builder-paid rate buydowns and incentives. If a resale seller is not transparent about exactly what their Mello-Roos and HOA actually cost per month, a buyer can walk next door to a brand new build with a lower effective payment and a warranty to top it off. Your resale listing has to win on more than just curb appeal when that's your competition. Solar is the other one. If you're leasing your solar panels instead of owning them outright, that lease has to be disclosed, and it has to either be paid off or qualified for by the buyer before closing. I'm not letting my buyer clients casually assume a solar lease without fully understanding the remaining balance and the monthly cost. And most agents on the buy side feel the same way. If you have a solar lease, get the payoff number from the company now before you list, so you're not negotiating in a panic during escrow. Signal 3, the busy street problem. The third signal is location on a major arterial road. In our market, that means streets like Central Avenue, Riverside Drive, Pipeline Avenue, Euclid, Grand Avenue, Eucalyptus Avenue, and Haven Avenue. These are the 4 and 6 lane corridors carrying constant traffic from early morning until late at night. The moment a buyer sees the address and drops it into a map, a large portion of them simply stop scrolling and move to the next listing. Families with young kids are usually the first to opt out because of both the noise and the safety concern of being right on a busy road. And here is the part sellers miss. If your home is priced the same as a nearly identical home 2 streets over on a quiet residential court, that is the wrong price. There should be a real discount for being on a major road, because buyers are going to ask for one anyways, either before they ever book a showing or once they're sitting across from you on the negotiating table. Quick favor before we get into the last 3. If this is useful so far, tap subscribe, because I break down a different part of the market every single week. And I want to know your take on something I see argued every week with my buyer clients. If you find a home you love, but it's priced $50,000 above the last comparable sale on that street, do you make an offer and try to negotiate, or do you walk away and wait for the price to come down? Let me know in the comments, because the answers are always split. Signal 4, freeway, rail, or flight path. The fourth signal is proximity to a freeway, a rail line, or in our specific case, the Ontario International Airport flight path. This is unique to our market compared to a lot of other parts of the county. Buyers are pulling up the satellite view before they even drive to go see the home. They're checking how close a backyard sits to the 60, the 71, the 91, or the 15 freeway. And increasingly, they're checking whether a home in North Ontario sits under a flight path, because that noise, it doesn't stop, ever. But I will say, you do get used to it. You can't negotiate with the freeway, you can't negotiate with the airport. Those things are not moving. So if your home backs up to one of these, the smart move is the same as the busy street problem. Price in the discount from day one instead of discovering it 90 days into a stale listing. Signal 5, the tightening market trap. Remember that Chino number from the start of this video? Active listings down 21% in a single month, and days on market still jumped 25%. Let's actually break down why that happens, because it is the 5th reason buyers skip a home, and it has nothing to do with location or layout. When inventory drops, sellers and even some agents assume that means less competition, so any home should move faster. But buyers did not compare your home to how many other homes exist. They're comparing your home to 2 or 3 listings that are still active that actually meet what they're looking for. If your home has a dated kitchen, a tired backyard, or photos that were taken on a cloudy day 3 years ago, a smaller pool of competing listings does not save you. The buyer simply waits, or they go back to a home that they already saw and liked better. That's exactly what happened in Chino this past month. Fewer homes on the market should have sped things up. Instead, the buyers who were out there got more selective, not less, because the homes that were sitting for a reason. Less competition does not mean less scrutiny. If anything, it means every flaw in your listing gets noticed by every single buyer who walks through instead of getting lost in the sea of other options. Signal 6, priced above the comparable sales. The sixth and final reason covers everything else because it's the one mistake that cancels out every other thing you did right. You can fix the floor plan, disclose every cost up front, avoid the busy street, and steer clear of the freeway, and none of it matters if the price itself is wrong relative to the comparable sales. Look at Chino Hills again. The median actually came down just under 3% this month, and yet the homes that are priced correctly are moving even faster than they were last month. Now down to 12 days, while still landing the full 100% of the original asking price. That tells you demand has not disappeared. It has just gotten less forgiving. A softening medium does not mean every home gets a pass on price. It means only the correctly priced ones get rewarded. And right now they are getting rewarded faster than before, not slower. Ontario Ranch makes the same point from two very different directions. And this month the gap between the two zip codes is wider than ever. In 91761, prices climbed 2.2%, but days on market exploded over 81% right alongside it, which usually means sellers are chasing the market up and a little too aggressively from what buyers are actually willing to pay. In 91762, prices came down almost 8% and days on market dropped 38% in response, with homes now closing above their original asking price at just 101%. Sellers in 91762 adjusted hard to where the market actually was, and buyers rewarded them with faster sales and offers above asking. That's not a coincidence, that's just a cause and effect. If you're listing in any of these areas, the lesson is still the same. The market's gonna tell you almost immediately whether your price is right. Pay attention to the first 2 weeks because that's when buyers are deciding whether to skip you or show up. And if you get past 2 weeks and 3 weeks and the traffic is lessening, that's your sign that you're gonna have to drop the price. So what do you do if your home has any of these issues? Now, if you're watching this right now and you're recognizing that your home has one of these issues, here's the actual plan. First, pull the real sold data, not the active listings with a half mile to a mile of your home. What buyers actually paid tells you far more than what sellers are currently asking. Second, separate what you can fix from what you cannot fix. You cannot move your home off a busy street or away from a freeway. You can open up a closed kitchen, you can pay off a solar lease, and you can get ahead of a Mello-Roos disclosure. Know which category your issue falls into before you set a price. Third, price your home correctly from the start. Look at what's being sold and list it at or around that last sold price. Don't focus on what your neighbor sold it for, 3, 6 months, or even a year ago. Buyers are paying for current market value. Chino Hills, and the two zip codes in Ontario Ranch are telling 4 completely different stories this month. And all of it traces back to these 6 reasons. None of it is random and none of it is permanent. Price it correctly, present correctly, and disclose the real cost up front, and you become one of the homes selling in days at full price or above. Check your own home against these 6 signals before you start listing, whether it's next month or in a year. And if you want a real read on where your specific home stands in Chino Hills, or Ontario Ranch, reach out to me directly. My number and my contact information are right below this video. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.